May 3rd here in Southern Ontario, Canada. Sort of now the introduction after the preface into Agenda 2030 being the target date, obviously, 2025. In the course of my workday here on the channel, most days I do a little globe trotting, I'll refer to it. By that I mean I take, for example, the UK or Australia, could be the States. I take a look at what the mainstream media is covering. Then I go to the independent media, and then I go to social media along the way. I should say I go, along the way, I take in the public's comments, the same as I do here at home if I'm watching someone else's content channel or the True North, Rebel News, whatever the case may be. The Western Standard, good channel, independent media channel. I find in the public's comments a great deal of insight. What is evident on the global scale is that the populace is rapidly increasing numbers is awakening to the fact that the WEF's agenda isn't a conspiracy theory. It's as real as it gets, people. This is clearly evident in the Netherlands with what is commonly referred to as the farmers' revolt, and that the Dutch populace is increasingly realizing that the threat they're facing comes from outside their borders, and that their nation's leader, a WEF member and a young global leaders graduate, is merely the facilitator of the WEF agenda. The recent elections with the Farmers' Party winning in all provinces clearly shows the Dutch people have caught on, so to speak. In France, where the Prime Minister is also a WEF member and graduate, the French people's protests are evidently escalating into what can only be seen as increasingly rioting on the streets. The numbers on the streets run into millions. Now, the France's Prime Minister, his response to this recently in an official address to the nation, just before the turn of the month, his response was to inform his rioting populace that not only will the agenda continue forward, but that he in fact intends to hasten said agenda. Which will bring me to Canada very shortly here, because there are many parallels. But to use France as an example, which I am here, I mean, when you have millions of your populace in the street rioting, it's turning into rioting now. They're throwing Molotov cocktails at the police. And your response? Suck it up, buttercup, I'm moving harder and faster. Well, the facilitators of the WEF agenda, in this case, the Prime Minister of France, the Prime Minister of Holland, and our leader, Justin Trudeau, here in Canada, young global leaders graduate, class of 92, WEF member. I think he was the same year graduate as the Prime Minister of France, although it might have been the Dutch leader, I'm not sure which. I think it was the France guy. So, in the next video, I'll come to Canada.